Bonehead Guitars. Let's go build some junk. Now, see if this one will. Oh, hell yeah. Okay. Okay. What it did, same as I always do. Since we got our tuners fitted, our nut is slightly slotted. I haven't checked to see just how far off it is. I'm sure it needs to go a little deeper, but I didn't want to, go too far until I knew. Well, until I actually had strings on, so I could know. Okay, our stop tail is actually planted and in place. For this bridge, I didn't have a jig that actually fit perfect, so I had to make one. Okay, so the holes on the post holes on this bridge happen to be 1/4 inch. So I, as it turns out, some 1/4 inch threaded rod is just perfect. I mean, it's not too tight, but it'll fit in there. So I cut a couple chunks of 1/4 inch threaded rod, and I put them in the drill press chuck so I could grind the end close to a point. It's not quite to a point, but there's a small circle of stuff left. Okay, meanwhile, I got placement perfect on this piece of plexi, which is 1/4 inch, was just about perfect. Well, not exactly perfect. Could be a little bit lower, but I mean, because that's slightly high action, but it's good enough for what I need it for. So, okay, I put a piece of tape down and I marked the edge of the board on both sides, which is basically the actual width of the neck blank. Okay, then I got this in place so I can slide it around till we get the here's the deal. I try to put the saddles at dead center so they have the maximum range of adjustment back and forth, and I would like to have it as close to perfectly intonated as possible, like this, with the max range of adjustment. So when we actually place the bridge, it is as close to intonated as possible, at least with these 9 gauge, with the maximum range adjustment range. And I think we are finally at that stage. Okay, so the point is, get tuners fitted, get a nut slotted, get the stop tail in place, or string through ferrules, either way, so you can actually string it up with a floating bridge, get the bridge exactly where we want it, and then hammer these to give me a point of exactly where we want to put our posts, and then drill our bridge posts. Once we have that, we can figure out, exactly where we want that bridge pickup, where the ring is not going to, interfere with or touch the actual bridge. So, baby steps. Neck pup, stop tail, tuners, then the bridge pup. I mean, it's the only way you can really know for sure what you're doing. Not that I know what I'm doing. I said it a million times. I'm never going to tell you, this is how you do it. I'm going to tell you, this is how I do it. And fully expect a lot of people are going to look at this and say, what the hell are you doing, idiot? Which is okay. You know. Shit, I say right there in the title, I'm a bonehead. I'm learning this shit as I go. Trying to help you too. And if you're smarter than I am, then good for you. I'm happy for you. Us mere mortals got to work at it. And that's the point. We're working at it. A little piece at a time. Learning. Learning about music. Learning about wood. Learning about life. And this has been your cheesy moment from Scott at Bonehead Guitars. Thank you. Before I get too carried away, I want to get the nut cut down pretty close to its final depth. I would love to impart some wonderful wisdom to you on how this is done properly. Except I ain't no expert. Tell you what I do, and it's probably wrong. I'll hold the string down at the 3rd fret, and I expect just a tiny bit of movement, less for thinner strings. A little bit above, it should be a little bit above the 1st fret. It shouldn't be touching the 1st fret. If it is, you've gone too far. Now, I try to mimic that angle with the nut cut, because in theory, you want the string resting on the knife edge of the nut and not the back slope. But, I don't know, I think that's just a little bit crazy. I think, seems to me, that cutting the slot at the same angle as the head works just fine. Whoops. Stay in the slot, dickhead. I don't know for sure, but I suspect, well, I'm fairly certain that if your action is too high at the nut or the bridge, it's gonna skew the math somewhat on the intonation, which is why we are trying to cut the nut, you know, at least most of the way now. So the nut is fairly close to where it's gonna be in the end. So our guesstimation on intonation is as close as it can be. And that's it. I think we are finally there. The placement is nice. The intonation is pretty damn close on each string. I think it's time. Now, after all that trouble, I hope that made enough of a dent that I can see it. Yeah, maybe. What I can do, now this is a little bit iffy because it relies on my damn eyeball. But I think we're pretty well centered. If we're off, it's only a tiny amount, and just like with the stop tail, we would drill one, put it in place, swing it over this one and see if it looks centered. I can't resist. I like it. And now I know that for sure. I don't know if you can see that or not. It looks pretty damn centered to me. I think we did good. We'll go ahead and drill this one and see what happens. Perfect. 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 Yay! Okay. Thanks for sticking around. Hope you enjoyed it. Like this video. Go subscribe. Be back here next time. We got more stuff to do. Like, subscribe.